published across reputed journals on various topics. Sir has participated in various national and international conferences and has also presented more than 40 research papers on varied law subjects and also won the award of Best Paper Presentation on 2 occasions. Sir has, to his credit, certification of various faculty development programs, short-term courses organized by various national law universities. Sir has chaired various technical sessions in international and national conferences. Sir is a life member of various associations like Indian Society for Criminology, Association of Law and Economics, International Center for ADR. He is also a member of Indian Council of Arbitration and South Asian Society of Criminology and Victimology, which are just a few of them that I name here. With this brief introduction, I present to the audience Dr. Mary Sport. I request the resource person to kindly take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for that welcome note. And in fact, actually, you make me to further emphasize the way you interacted me. Thank you for that. And I thank the organizers and Kalpe sir and principal sir for inviting me for this particular topic. Especially when I have been approached by Kalpe sir, I really surprised. At the same time, congratulated him because this is the first time disabilities have been included as a part of access to justice course. Otherwise, we may look at women, children, elderly, so and so, but disability often neglected. However, being the law fraternity or being the people who are providing legal aid, we must get into this particular domain. Here I may have a lot of slides, right? Now I have been given 1 hour time. My aim is to make you to understand what actually disability or persons with disabilities expectations or what could be the perspective with regard to access to justice as far as disabilities are concerned, right? So this is my primary objective of today's session, and we're discussing that what is our role being the law fraternity to empower persons with disabilities through achieving their rights. Now, next slide. Now, impact of inaccessible justice. Again, it has been stated by the Accessible Justice Committee, UN only. So there are 3 points. Second slide, just first one. So here, there are 3 elements. First one, individually he may not be able to get the things. Second one, he may not be able to fight. Third one, even he may not or she may not make the person accountable for the commission or omission of that act. That's the reason we need to ensure accessible justice. In fact, even that committee says that accessible justice is an integral part of rule of law. Now, let us discuss, rather interact with us. What do you mean by access to justice? Let us forget to justice term. What is mean by, or what is the understanding of access? Tell me somebody. What is the meaning of access? Yes, please interact. Kalpe sir, please unmute everyone. Yes, what do you understand or what do you mean by access?
Yes, participant, please unmute yourself. They're free to unmute.
Yes. What is the
Yes,
meaning of
yes, participant, you can respond in chat box also. I will read out, or you can unmute yourself.
and time is running out? Very quick response I expect.
Easily
Yes.
available to reach out,
Okay.
easily available
Easy.
justice, availability, to be able to
Mhm.
utilize something.
Okay.
These are the response we are getting.
Okay. I further want to dig in. What is the meaning of easily available?
One of the response we can see resolve their problems, an attack or outburst of an emotion, free
Yeah.
from barrier,
Okay. Barrier. Now, please.
without much
This is
effort.
without much
Much
effort.
effort.
Okay. Now, these are all the word meaning which you have given ableistic perspective. Please, I am using the term very, very strong term. Whatever the meaning you have given, it is nothing but ableistic perspective. Now, there is another angle to the term access. Access. That means availability. Availability not in terms of, let us say, Kalpesh Gupta is running legal aid clinic. So whosoever want, they can go to that clinic, that website, or they can call Kalpesh number. That is general notion. However, if I am a deaf person, whether Kalpesh Gupta's number is accessible for me? Tell me, is it access? If I want to get a legal aid, I am a deaf person. Is it accessible? So please understand the term access has another dimension which we abled people never think of.
Yes, yes, we are getting responses. Many person, no, 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 no.
Okay.
Response, no response for the participants. No, they are responding.
Okay.
Yeah,
So here, this is what we should understand first. The term access itself having different dimensions as far as person with disabilities. And please remember, each disability has different requirement of access. For example, as a deaf, I may require sign interpreters help, or as a blind, I may require some kind of tactile path or some kind of, let us say, screen reader support if I want to file a complaint as application, legal aid application in the government portal. So that's where the access come, right? Again, justice also has different dimensions when you are looking for persons with disabilities. If I start discussing about that justice perspective, it might take too much time. So I'm skipping now. Let us focus on access to justice in a broader context and practical aspects of that, right? And now that high level committee I discussed, this further emphasize why, how we have to ensure accessible, rather access to justice, fair, transparent, and non-discriminatory. So please remember, non-discriminatory sounds simple, but we as a ableist, we understand non-discriminatory means Marisport as a deaf and Kalpesh Gupta as a abled are same. Okay, we provide the that toll-free number. or we provide that address, that's enough. But that's not the case. Here the discrimination also comes. I don't know how many of you are aware, like Nirbhaya case, one of the deaf lady rape, gang rape. I think 2 years later, Nirbhaya incident. No voice, no media surge. Right? Where is the equal treatment? Anyway, next slide. Now these definitions and all, actually I have taken it from RPWD Act. I'm not going to stress much on that. Here one thing we have to remember, as far as disabilities are concerned, there are three legislations. One is RPWD Act, another one is National Trust Act, and previously one act got repealed, so I'm not going to touch one. Then one more vital, RCA Act, Rehabilitation Council of India Act. Okay, but the primary rights and obligations are concerned, this RPWD Act is very essential. Now, next slide. Benchmark disability. Here, now as far as disability is concerned, three broad category. Disability as a whole, umbrella term, which includes, let us say, 5%, 10% to 100%. Whereas benchmark disability means 40% are above up to 100. Whereas persons with high support needs means 80% to 100%. That is, without caretaker, they cannot move. That's where high support needs are concerned. Right? Now, here, before I discuss what are all the requirements, you should understand this. Three categories: disabilities in general, 5% to even a person who is considering himself as a disabled to 100%. Benchmark means 40% to 100. High support needs means 80 to 100. Right? Now, why these three categories are there under the Act? Because as far as government schemes reservation are concerned, the disabilities who are above 40, that is from 40 to above till 100, they may be given that. Below 40, government schemes may not be applicable. Right? So that's where government has made that classification. However, as far as the term disability is concerned, even if somebody is suffering 30% disability, he also included. In a recent judgment, Vikas Kumar versus Union of India, I haven't highlighted. It's talking about providing scribe to the disabled who are below the benchmark. So Supreme Court allowed that. In fact, very recent case, Supreme Court actually changed the, rather you can say that, expand the scribe norms. Even CLAT also, Supreme Court is thinking of doing the same thing. Anyway, now, why we need to discuss access to justice for PWD? Are they facing similar issues like abled, or something different they face? I hope somebody might have seen or interacted or stayed with persons with disability. So please give your answer either in chat box or unmute and tell. My question is very simple. are the persons with disabilities are facing similar access to justice issues or something different than abled? Just quick response. Yes, Kalpesh sir, please let me know if
Yes,
there is
yes.
any.
Yeah, they're responding different issues, different than abled, different, it will be different.
Okay, if it
Again,
is different, what
yes,
are
yes.
the different types? Don't mention different. What are the different types of issues?
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes, sir. Their issues are different because other person directly can approach for access to justice to legal aid committee, but these peoples are depend on someone. That
That's
is,
fine, ma'am, but that's fine. This is related to accessing. Okay, but which kind of some typical issues they could face? Your point is fine. One point I noted
yes.
down. That's valid. I'm asking another question. Let us say I am a deaf person.
Hmm.
Okay, um, I am as well. I am having some issues. You may have some issues. Or the issues maybe are same like able or something extraordinary I may have. As far as issues are concerned,
Sir,
let us say family, let us say
sir,
marriage, let us say uh, you can say that education. Yeah.
sir, the issues for the disabled person definitely will be the different from those person who are able person because able person can make so many links and so many supporting things are around them so they can take benefit from them. But
Yes.
unable person or just disabled person cannot access those things because these are isolated person earlier previously. So definitely they cannot make link and get benefit much from the available resources or person.
Yeah. Thank you for that explanation. In fact, I am giving the example. Um, now I am studying in a law institution along with Kalpesh Gupta. Now Kalpesh is playing cricket, volleyball, basketball, right? Then I ask Kalpesh, what about me? अरे यार आप तो खेलने नहीं चाहते, आप तो डेफ है, मैं कैसे आपसे बात करूंगा? How I am going to play, right? So I'm just giving one example, but you can connect it with many things. Now, if in case if I'm a blind, then Kalpesh might ask, अरे यार आपसे मैं कैसे खेलूंगा? Because blind volleyball is some sitting volleyball, something is different. I don't know how many of you are aware blind volleyball. एक्चुअली ब्लेंड वॉलीबॉल ऐसे ही है, नेट के नीचे ही गेंद जाना चाहिए, नॉट एट द टॉप. Okay, so here this is how we do when we are mingled with able and disabled. And now with regard to their study, with regard to their education, right? Are they getting equal education? Are they getting all the facilities? I don't know how many of you are aware of Rajiv Raturi judgment 2017. Then later also Supreme Court passed several orders with regard to infrastructure accessibility. Now let us say um, somebody is opening legal aid clinic, okay, and inviting me as a blind to visit, but the clinic is in 4th floor, the lift is not having audio sound, then how I am going to access? Right, if I want to visit. So think on this line. Similarly, with regard to marriage, with regard to matrimonial issues, disabilities are having different threshold. How many of you are aware? Intellectual disabilities in able language, it is mentally retarded people. So many of the intellectual disabled women are forced sterilization or uterus removal operation. How many of you are aware? Either it's done by their parents or it's done by the NGO which they belongs. Right? So that's where we must understand the problem very, very carefully. I haven't mentioned these aspects in my slide. I would thought of conveying directly to you. In fact, many of the persons with disabilities, I'm telling you, be it locomotor, that is physical disabled, or be it blind, be it deaf, though they are getting the job, whether they are getting the same recognition or same promotion or same, you can say that, access to the means, it may or may not. Most of the cases may not. Right? If you look, there is a special association, blind visually challenged bank employees association. You can Google it. You might come across their concerns. Right? So move to next slide. Next slide, rights and entertainments. Now please remember these rights, I'm just highlighting it, then I will give illustration how the access to justice connected here. Section 3 talks about non-discrimination. Again, I told you it's very, very, you can say that, holy term as far as disabilities are concerned. Whether it has been implemented letter and states, no. Even the electoral access, last few years, only Election Commission of India awakened for that, right? With regard to access to fair election, rather access to election. Otherwise, it was not. Even with regard to any schemes, common schemes, non-discrimination. There are some schemes, actually, let us say housing, or let us say some social welfare schemes. There are schemes, however, those schemes which are connected with disabled may or may not given. Even if they have been given, there are some discrimination. For example, there is a house allotment, but the house is at the first or second floor, right? How that person go and live? Now just move to next slide. Again, that definition connected with discrimination. Actually, this definition, each phrase has some meaning to it. Commission or omission, everything you can take it, but each phrase has one meaning. Even I'm telling you that extinction or exclusion or distinction on the basis of disability that constitute discrimination. Okay. Now, during my school days, I have asked not to read this much, but that time even they were also unaware there might be audiobooks available. Still, I have been denied of that opportunity. So it's a kind of discrimination. Now, reasonable accommodation. Please remember, you cannot list out which are the facilities are reasonable accommodation. It vary person to person, even time to time and place to place. Right. Now, if Kalpesar is inviting me for his home, he may not have a sign interpreter. Whereas, if he is able to taking care of me or some kind of signage, he is able to cooperate me, that's enough. Right? Okay. Anyway, public building that is connected with accessibility. So you can take note. Every building which is access to public. Even public facilities and services. Please remember, private players also are accountable for providing this accessible infrastructure if they are providing public services, be it hospital, be it bus or other schools also. Anyway, this personal loss I don't want to touch because it is connected with leprosy. Now it is removed one of the ground from divorce. Now look at this section 4, women and children. Actually, the beauty of this provision, some special measures they can take it. Even gender-based violence also, one provision is there under RPWD Act. However, in reality, they are the most vulnerable. Women and children are the most vulnerable. Actually, the people who are having sound backup, they could send their disabled children to a kind of appropriate school, or even the disabled school also. They use their own vehicle, leave them and take them. Whereas other disabled children, they used to stay in the shelter home run by government or government aided NGOs. So there their conditions are something different. Please remember, they don't know whom to express their child sexual abuse. They don't know how to communicate or whom to communicate their feelings. We, while doing legal aid, we used to collaborate or interact many NGOs. Are we ever think of looking at these NGOs who are providing occasional training or education to persons with disabilities or children with disabilities? Are we thought of? So my request, at least now onwards, please keep that in mind. Next. Okay. Now section 5 talks about community living. How many disabilities are allowed to live with their community? Again, it depends, especially women with disabilities, the things are portion. And then the research, uninformed research. In fact, some of the doses or tablets used to tested through these disabilities, or sometimes each case without their consent, or sometimes what happens, simply they get a sign without explaining, they do some medical experiments. Even their own operations also, without communicating properly, they do. Now look at section 7, protection against abuse. Now look at the procedure for reporting. Now executive magistrate, we have to report. Please remember, section 7 is very vital for law fraternity, which talks about, let us say if something is happened to some disability, either from home or by an NGO or somewhere, if he is needing or she is in need of shelter home or some kind of protection against abuse, then we have to approach the executive magistrate of that area and he has to take a measure. Next. Now executive magistrate supposed to prevent that or stop that occurrence. And protective custody. Now please remember, police officer has the application to protect the PWD or VWD. Here VWD means victim with disability. Now section 6 also talks about armed conflicts. Against next slide, section 8 talks about emergency situation. Please remember, during COVID-19, we all are suffered. We always suffered, rather. Now, as a disabled, even some people thought, it's not a medicine, it's a water. There were some instances. But think about disabilities. Let us say somebody is blind. They may give the injection. Which injection, they don't know. Whether it has been communicated properly or not, don't know. And there are cases wherein which disabled people were asked to leave their shelter home. Actually, there are disabilities who don't have alternate homes. Where they go? So that kind of situation. So please remember, section 8 talks about emergency situations. Supposed to have inclusive plan, but we never have that. During COVID also we don't. Okay. Now please look at the armed conflict. Ukraine, Russia, or East, Israel, Palestine. Recent example, you would look at it. Many of the disabled activists condemning both sides for neglecting persons with disabilities, because many people suffer. Now, next slide. Now, these sections are very vital. Section 10, reproductive health and family planning, and section 9, live with parents. Please remember the property rights. Sometimes disabilities have these arrangements. If the disabled married able, their property might be has been transferred in the name of able. Or sometimes what happened, because of the property arrangements, marriage has been made. But what it could cause, it could create matrimonial issues. And sometimes even brothers or sisters own the property, they consider themselves as the caretakers, but they may not care. That also happens. Actually, the real issue which PWD faces how to overcome the victimization from the caretaker. Most of the cases, the caretakers are the primary victim, rather perpetrator for their victimization. That's where we must be careful. And reproductive health, many of the PWDs, especially women with disabilities, they're thinking about having a child or not having the child, but that may not be in their hand. It always with the hands of able. Now this is one perspective. Second, accessible information or accessible reproductive items. Either it could be male or female. Are they available? Even I'm talking about sanitary napkin. If somebody is having dwarfism issues, does the napkin fit? Right? Dwarfism is nothing but a person is having short height. So that's where we have to think on it. Now next slide. Accessible courts and quasi-judicial bodies. Tell me anyone except certain high courts and Supreme Court. Even Supreme Court, not all premises, but now some premises you can say accessible. Have you seen any trial court, even from Delhi, is disabled friendly? Newly built one. We have provision. Now, I am a blind, rather I am a wheelchair user. I come for fighting against Kalpesh, who has done something against me. The court asked me to give a witness, be a witness. I am ready. Does the premises accessible? You have certain provisions for taking evidence from persons with disabilities, but mostly connected with criminal. But what about civil nature? Even criminal nature also, in reality, is it happening? Just think. Even I'm asking one more question here. How many legal aid clinics infrastructure are accessible? Again, I'm giving the question accessible in terms of disability perspective, that is infrastructure or other means, disabled friendly. Now, after former Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud's initiation, we have some kind of accessible judgments and core web accessible. Other than that, what about the trial courts? Even some advocates start arguing. One of the blind advocate using screen reader for a argument. Even deaf advocates also start arguing in high court. But these are all few examples. Are they able to do that do the trial advocacy as a legal practitioner. Okay, think on it. Next. Right to own and legal capacity. So here it talks about recognition of legal capacity. However, go to the next slide. If you look at this slide, especially it is connected with intellectual disabilities. If the mental ability is having some issues, then their legal capacity is supposed to be taken away, and the guardian has the legal capacity. Again, it's a controversial provision. I'm not highlighting here, but make sure in case any property related issues, the legal capacity of the disabled as a question which you have to address. Please ensure that disabled people are having legal capacity. Next. Now, creation of awareness that even as a legal aid clinic we can do. Now, after this, I'm going to discuss some of the key provisions which legal aid committees or we as a practitioner supposed to work on it. Now, as far as disabilities are concerned, getting certification, getting schemes, and even benefiting the government schemes. These are all the aspects we have to help. So first of all, getting certification, section 56 talks about how to certify. In fact, during my days, I was not at all knowing how to get certified. I'm a low vision person, right? I was misled by many people. Somebody says that if you get a disability certificate, you may not be able to study law, right? So that kind of thing. But we as a legal aid fraternity, we must help. I think some of the legal aid clinics used to facilitate the poor people to get ration card or the open Jandan account or even Mandrega registration or some other governmental schemes also facilitate, if I'm not wrong. Is there anyone who has that experience? Getting ration card or even sometimes getting this, some legal aid clinic also helping SIR also, that electoral roll modification. So they are also helping. So in the same line, as far as persons with disabilities are concerned, you can help for at least you no need to go with them, at least guide them how to get the certification, disability certification. Okay, whether you are a locomotor, okay, you can go to this doctor, or you are a deaf, okay, this, or you are a intellectual disability or learning disability, you can go there. So that at least that knowledge we can guide, or sometimes we can help, okay, whom they can approach. Second, okay, here apart from certification, there are some schemes like bus pass. Some state government, just correct me, Kalpesh sir, in Gujarat, disabled people can travel across Gujarat with free bus pass.
I think, it's been a long time I have not traveled bus, the city bus, because we used to like, it's there. Still it's there, I
Mm.
think. Gujarat ST bus, Gujarat State
Yeah, yes, state.
Transport Corporation, GSRTC.
Yes. Yeah,
I think it's
GSR.
public transport, I think facilities there for the
Yes,
Really important.
disabilities. And train pass also there. So now what happened? We can help them or we can guide them. You can have this pass. What they can do. And now what happened? UDID, Uni- Unified Disability ID card. Like Aadhaar, it's a special card for disabilities, especially central government schemes. They should provide UDID. Now, one interesting thing, access to justice related with regard to UDID. Uh, Recently, Railway Ministry has issued a circular. Those who are having UDID, there is no requirement of providing additional certification. UDID itself enough, they can avail the railway concession. Whereas in reality, when they are going for taking the ticket, the officer asks for the certificate. So it is not communicated. So they have to fight. So who is going to fight? Similarly, ICT accessibility, information and communication accessibility. Section 40, 42, 43, and remaining provisions, if you look at it, ICT accessibility is there, and we have ICT accessibility rules 2024. There are some standards also highlighted. If the websites are not following, who is going to fight? Disabilities, they themselves are supposed to fight. How many they are going to? Still, there are some people missing accessibility. So they are doing good job. They are filing the case. Whereas many places, still these things are happening. In fact, Kalpesh sir has said one instance wherein which he cautioned one of the seller, service provider, hotel service provider, wherein which he is rounding up the GST. So similarly, why can't we, being the whistleblower, so that making the disabled people to get the justice, right? So that way we can proactive, right? So this is one thing. Now move to next slide. There are some offenses highlighted. Section 92. Actually, one interesting thing, the Jan Vishwas bill supposed to remove this offense. I'm talking about 2023, if I'm not wrong, wherein which disabled people fought for non-removal of this provision. So still it is there. Now, as far as this provision is concerned, anybody who scolded or anybody who denied the services of PWD or anybody taking the accommodative rather accessible items, be it limbs, that is artificial limbs, or be it a kind of blind sticks or some other accessories. So these are all offenses, even some kind of uh, screaming or mocking also considered as offense. Next, even voluntary injuries also a kind of offense. Please remember the punishment is 6 months to 5 years. My question is, how many such cases have been filed? I don't know how many of you are following disability news. Recently, one of the famous comedian has been warned by Supreme Court about his derogatory jokes on disabilities. Anybody? Is there anyone aware of that news? Okay. So if you are unaware, that's fine.
Yes, yes, yes. Like asked to do the community service as a part of punishment.
Yeah.
Supreme Court asked.
Okay. Yes. So see, now, but it's happening many places, but there is no complaint. There is no action. So we as a legal aid fraternity take this in your hand and do this. Right? Now this is from my end, and I urge you would like to ask more questions or more innovative queries so that I can further expand this discourse. In fact, there are some more cases on this, even reproductive rights also some more cases, but I don't want to discuss those cases now. Yeah. Yes. Kalpesh sir, any questions or anybody would like to give any explanation?
Yes, participant, please raise your hand or put the question in the chat box. We'll take up question for next 10 minutes. Yes, over to you, Susmita.
Are PWDs systematically excluded from decision-making rules within the justice system?
I think two people are asking simultaneously, one by one, please.
Are PWDs systematically excluded from decision-making rules within the justice system, sir?
Yes, very good question, and it's very well connected. Recently, even former Supreme Court judge also highlighted. If you look at the passing of RPWD Act, no PWD was not there in the Parliament. Even framing of rules, certain rules in the PWD, even many of the states, if you look at it, the disability commissioner I haven't highlighted because now what happened whenever if some breach happens or some let us say company is violating a disabled employee, you can approach state commissioner or otherwise national commissioner you can approach, that is CPT, that is commissioner of persons with disability. Now many of the states either that post become vacant or sometimes what happened, some IAS officer have been appointed who is not at all having knowledge about PWD. Then how they will focus on disability? Tell me. And if disability related policy have been framed, they are not included, how it will be, or how you assume that it will be beneficial for them? So in fact, I'm telling you one real example. Uh, Former judge, Supreme Court judge Chandrachud, when he asked why you are not leaving the home, right? Anybody aware what is the reason he has given?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Yeah, please tell.
Because his daughter is specially disabled, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
and
sir.
there is no home which could
Yes.
accommodate their accessible needs.
Yes, sir. True, sir. Sir.
So this happened to the CJ. Then what about others? Think on it. I hope I answer your question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
So the next
Yeah.
question is by the student Pratisha Shetty, Rights of Person with Disabilities RPWD Act 2016 and national policy for persons with disabilities 2006. How they help, sir?
Okay. Actually, certain extent, these policies are framed in a proactive way. We welcome. At the same time, implementation level. Let us say infrastructure accessibility. It gives 5 years time, but after 5 years, no existing building become disabled friendly. Even the new building, it is supposed to follow the universal design code, but it is not following. So the implementation level still lot to be done. Thank you. Next.
Next question is for Purnanand Ghai, the student. Sir, what changes can be made to existing laws and the policies to make them more inclusive for the person with disabilities?
Okay. Actually, I answered to certain extent in the previous question itself. Again, I repeat, you no need to stretch law. At least you have to ensure the implementation. For example, um, accessible banking services. Uh, Already at the time of introduction highlighted. I am doing that project. We found that many of the blind people denied opening of bank account since they are blind. Whereas RBI circular says, no, it should not be denied. Ministry of Finance circular says they should be open. But in reality, it is not. So the implementation is very much needed. That's where the legal aid clinic also supposed to come into picture. Yes. Next.
Sir, how does the current legal framework in India promote empowerment or mere protection for the persons with disabilities, sir?
Yeah, in certain extent, compared to 1995 PWD Act, it is progressive. 2016 is progressive. Still long way to go. For example, in German, you have special buses for disabilities, or even some other countries, you have special vehicles for PWDs or accessibility for accessible infrastructure for PWDs. So that we need to be achieved. Yes.
So, next question.
The next question is how can awareness about disability right to be increased among lawyers and the public from Sushant?
Yes. There are two ways. One is law school. So at the time of discussing legal aid or as a part of their curriculum, they have to at least one module disability related aspects they have to include. Second, legal aid clinics give special attention to PWDs. So even when they are giving the training to the paralegal volunteers, they have to keep one session on PWD or some sessions on PWDs. So that's the first step, law school level as well as uh, legal aid clinics. Sometimes no PWD may approach, but it doesn't mean that you should not know. PWD may, because PWD may not come to you. You have to reach PWD. That's the difference. Similarly, women victims, they may not come. Certain cases. So you have to reach. The same approach here you have to follow. So you have to reach. Now what happened? If somebody is giving legal aid to me, so that clinic may not provide that legal aid to PWD, but the lawyer who got that legal aid, he might have the knowledge, so he could help his nearby PWD. Yes. Any more questions? Do you have any more
No,
questions?
no, sir. That will be all for today. I hand over the mic to Rutuja Mali for concluding giving the concluding remarks for this session, sir. Over to
Okay.
you, Rutuja.
Good evening, everyone. As we have come to the end of today's session of Faculty Development Program, annual online capacity building program on access to justice, jointly organized by K.L.E. Societies, Law College Chikodi, and Pro Bono India. I, Rituja Mali, student of second year BLLB, deem it a privilege and honor to propose the oath of thanks. First and foremost, I express my sincere gratitude to today's resource person, Dr. A. Marisport, Assistant Professor of Law and Head for Disability Law and Studies, Gujarat National Law University, Gandhinagar. Sir, thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge on the topic equal access, equal justice, and empowering persons with disabilities. Sir, the session was very inspiring and very informative. We greatly appreciate your words. Thank you, sir.
Thank
I
you.
also
Thank you for
extend my heartfelt thanks to the founder of Pro Bono India, Dr. Kalpesh Kumar Gupta, for the support and guidance in every aspect of this faculty development program. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. D.V. Solapure, for providing guidance and encouragement and constant support in making this program possible. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the moderator of today's session, Professor V.S. Bilgi ma'am, for the dedicated efforts in organizing today's session so smoothly. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank all the teaching and non-teaching faculty members of our college for their presence and support. Thank you. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to the technical teams for ensuring a smooth online session without any glitches. Thank you, technical teams. Last but not the least, I thank the wonderful audience of academicians, professionals, lawyers, research scholars, and the students from various law colleges across India who have been instrumental in making today's session a grand success through their active participation and keen listening. Thank you, one and all.
thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marisport, for sharing your
Thank you,
valuable
sir.
time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
May I take your leave?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, principal, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
sir.
let me tell you, all the
Yeah.
participant, Mary Sport and I will we have work on handbook on disability laws in India. So it's under publication process. So maybe 2 3 months we'll share those things in group. So comprehensive handbook on disability laws in India we have planned working for last almost 8 10 months. So we'll share those things in due course of time. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Yes.